Well, hello guys. Welcome back to Horizon Aerospace. As you can see, some things look very, very different. One, the complex looks a little nicer. It's daytime. And we have a lot of science. And the tech tree is, well, it's been upgraded. So there's that. Unfortunately, getting here is, well, funny story. It's story time, children. Story time. So, it was a nice 6 o'clock evening. I decided that I would start recording, or finishing the recording that I had started the night before, and everything was going smoothly. I put a probe around the moon. I got some tourists, or one tourist up and down, got that done, and then I decided, you know what, I'll try to land on the moon. And stupid me for not realizing that the moon should be the second target you go to after you go to Minmus. Not remembering that, the insane amount of delta V that it requires, that I was not prepared for, so it was an insane amount. It's not really, but it was. And then, well, this happened, and I'm just gonna let you guys, I'm just gonna let this one fold out for you. Okay, so now that we're back in the pod, I didn't do much. Somebody came in and talked to me. That's all. Okay. Let's get ourselves off. Oh no. Shoot. When was the last quick save? Oh no. So yeah, that is why things look the way they are. So, there is evidence that I did try to record, and things did happen, and well, see how they panned out. But I am gonna salvage that into something, and this will be episode 3 or 4. Episode 3, but it's technically 4. And so I decided that I learned 3 things, and that I'm going to do 3 things. 1, save. 2, save. And 3, save. This game is like Skyrim. You die, you get sent back so far. So the first thing I'm going to do, save game. There we go. Saved. Now the objectives for this, get to the tracking station. We could put another satellite in orbit. We could put another satellite in orbit. Or we could fix our old orbit, I think. Yeah, fix our old inclination. There's a lot of things that we could do, but what I'm going to do send the satellite to Minmus and land on Minmus. And potentially put a space station up there. We'll see what we get. So, that is what the goals for this episode are. Whoa. So, to do that, we have landing. Obviously, we kind of needed that. I am going to grab the command modules for later. I don't really need this stuff, but I need the RCS tanks, wherever they are. So we're going to get the advanced control. And okay, so advanced control we got. Monopropellant tank. Okay, I can use that. Pulling on my leg. Rovers. I don't plan on sending any rovers. I don't plan on doing that. So really the only one that I could do it on is this post. So we're going to save the science. And go to Minmus. Well guys, I'm convinced my computer hates me. So we see that I have 1,000 science. Because I actually did go to Minmus, but the file got corrupted. So we're going to do it again. And we got some contracts to help us out this time. To give us a goal. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know what I just built last. Okay, good. Is I'm going to have to bring back somebody. So I have to bring back somebody with me. So I can't just use this. So I may have to build it around the lander can. I think that's what I'm going to do, since we have to bring back 2 people. It'll make it nice and easy. So we can do our science while we're there. Put our goo canister there. Barometer. And anything else. We can put batteries on this side. I am going to speed up the build after I build this, because after I build the lander, the landing portion of it. Yep, I'm going to speed this part up. So we're just going to go to Minmus, pick up this guy, and come back, and then we will continue with the second part of this this mission, I guess, for lack of a better word. So, the reason why I am building this, how I am building this, is because I wanted to use parts that fit flush with the can, and I had to use the struts to get the legs low enough. That's why you see the building blocks there, to get the legs low enough so that way the engine wouldn't cover it. The engine's a little bit overkill, and I went to go test it to make sure that the legs would work, and they did, so I gave it a quick test launch. Aside from that, I just decided that I needed a heat shield to bring it down and some parachutes. Well, I'm doing this voiceover because I didn't know what you guys would like, And this is a rather boring part of the video, the builds and the launch. I do slow it down again, and I try to keep the video a little bit shorter in length, but not working out too well. It's still an hour long, and I don't want that, so I'm gonna try to get a shorter one in next time for you guys, and see how you like that. And then if you guys prefer the longer videos, then I can do that. But I know that one episode is going to be a special episode. Now, you can see me struggling with the weight limit on my vehicle assembly building, so I just decided that I would use the regular ones. Saved it, made sure to take one guy out, and launch time. Now, I believe this is a real-time clip of the start of the launch, and it zooms forward. So now we can see our beautiful craft lifting off the ground, or not beautiful, but our craft lifting off the ground, and starting its turn quite early because I wanted to. And then we can start speeding through the rest. I decided not to show very much of this because it is just a landing on Minmus, and other celestial bodies are much more interesting than, say, Minmus. Now, some things that, I just ran into the nose cone that I ejected. Some things that I would like to address would be things to do. Other games. If you have games that you would like to see, and here we're just orbiting until we get a good point to drop our orbit and land, and we're just gonna what? And we're just gonna land on here and extend it out a little bit further, so that we are going to land more near it. But other games, like, I don't know, any other games that you would like to be played here on this channel, please do let me know, because I'd love to record more. And since it is summer, I will do this at the end, last week maybe. I have something planned sometime around that. I'll tell you the details when I get there, and when I figure it out. There will be a video about it for sure, just explaining it in detail. And yeah, so now that we have landed on Minmus, I'm going to ultimately adjust my landing site to be closer, so I don't have to run and spend more time than I have to. But I do want to question whether you like this editing style or you prefer just the raw gameplay. Because if you prefer the raw gameplay, let me know and I will address my videos so that way they are not as long. Because I want to try to keep them below an hour, because it's a really long time, and if I can get them 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, that would be good. Like 25 to 35 minutes, somewhere around that. That would be a good video length. But let me know your opinions on that, and if you'd rather the raw footage or not. And I also want to say that I am working on a little project something fun to do. It may involve a friend, it may not, and it's a surprise. It's a premiere, but I want to mention it so that way if I forget, someone will remind me. Hopefully someone will remind me about it. And here's a pretty rough, really rough burn to get circularized. And then we just head back home. But yeah, and challenges, if anybody has any challenges, I think I mentioned this at the end. Any challenges that you want, like the world's, like, try to see how fast I can get a plane, how fast I can get a car to go, all these things. The land speed record, and I know y'all want to see the fails, so you don't need to say anything about that. They're coming, for sure. I know you don't want me to be perfect, but this is a career mode and money matters. So here we are re-entering, and it is about my time to leave. So I will come back when there is another space flight, and it will come later. I'm not going to drop any hints. Quick save here. And so the file got corrupt, so I had no footage except what I showed you. Except what you saw in the beginning was all of the failed moon landings. Or the one failed moon landing, rather. And then, well, here we are. Returning people from the moon, or Minmus rather. Let's time warp this. I could probably cut 2 of these, but I don't want to. And now that we have splashdown, now cover them. They don't have much. I didn't get much science from it. But I will get money. I have money now. So we can upgrade our VAB. Or we could upgrade our tracking stick, or better yet, we could do this. But since we've got science, let's spend it. Now that I've legitimately recorded myself returning from Minmus, I can say that we got the science. So we want what here? Containment. That would be good. This is good. Do I have miniaturization? Precision engineering. Well, we're gonna build a station, so science is what we need. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. We're gonna grab these because those are useful. This. I really only need this. 600. We can spend it on some bigger heat shields, a bigger payload option with some docking ports, which I may actually end up needing. Let's go with these. Those aren't really useful, but I like that. What else is there? We can get a bigger. This is more construction stuff. Reaction wheels. Monopropellant tank. Where's the science stuff? Yeah, this is what I need to get to. So I could get this, I think. Oh, it requires this unmanned tech as well. But then we'll go with the unmanned tech because this is like the most efficient thing on Earth. But I want these. But that would be useful. Monopropellant tanks are going to be my saving grace. This contains 20. This contains 50. And one of these contains... Where'd they go? Is it this? Yeah. This contains 120. 20. So that's tiny. We'll go with that. I have 48 left over. Now let's check some contracts. Build a surface outpost, an antenna, a docking port, and can generate power. Facility that supports at least 5 Kerbals. I can't do that, but how long does it last? I will take it because that will be our next. That will be next episode. So, Ike, I don't know where Ike is, I'm gonna be honest. I can figure it out. Well, let's go ahead to the VAB and we will build ourselves a space station to put in orbit of Minmus because I promised you guys that. I also want to update this series. These goals. We're gonna put a colony on we're gonna basically colonize every planet and every moon that we possibly can. Space station, land base, and a satellite network across so that way I won't have to worry about having a pilot on hand at all times. So those are the goals. So as I was saying, we have some contracts here. Let's check them out. I have some contracts to build an orbital station around Minmus, build one around the or moon, however you want to say that. Explore the moon, or mun. How much time do I have to do this? It never expires. Good. 34 years to do the Duna one. 4 years to do the observational survey. Orbital station around that. Orbital station around Minmus is what we are doing. Yeah. I pulled some small little contracts, like the adjusting orbits of things that already were in space to get the money, so my vehicle assembly building is now max. As well as my runway. So, research lab and 5 Kerbals. Well, we are gonna put the hitchhiker, because that's 7 right there. Easy. Has to generate power. I can get that off here. We have docking ports too, correct? Yeah. Okay. Needs to have communications. What's this? What are the ratings? What's the difference? One's heavier. Okay, so our next thing that since this is Minmus, in case we need rescue missions, we will do a lander on this thing. That looks weird. I need a structural something there. Where's the Rockamex? There. That looks good. Makes it look a little nicer, and we're gonna build a lander out of this thing. But for now, we need communication. I don't like the way that looks. I don't like the way a lot of these look. That doesn't look bad. I'll take it. And we need solar and some batteries. We 6. We'll do the 1x6s. Here we'll do some put some batteries on here. So let's do the Z400. Put 8 of them on here. That'll be plenty of battery charge. These should go here with the small ones. Yeah, let's do it that way. With these here. There we go. Well, I want to put these here, but we could do collapsibles. Yeah, that is why I didn't want to do the collapsible ones. So we'll do these. We'll do 4 of them. Alrighty. Electrical power, thrust, RCS, communications, and we need some form of science on this. all our science, so we could save this as a station. Station with lander. We need a decoupler. So I would like to mention that do you guys want to see probes? Because probes aren't really necessary, but I can make them. And if you would love to see them, please let me know, because I'm going to send some out, but would you rather me send them out before I send something there, or send them out with it, so that way I know where to land and whatnot? It's all your ideas. I know that some of it is going to land onto me to make and come up with the design and the ideas, but I just want to know, how do probes sound as far as deep space and whatnot? But I know that I mentioned the new goal is to colonize every planet. I'm going to try to colonize every moon as well, should that happen, but I feel like that's going to get boring, so I'm only going to colonize most of the major stuff. For sure, all of the planets, but for gas giants like Jewel, colonizing like Val and its other moon that I can't think of right now for some reason, because I could point it out. Lathe, there we go, Lathe. Yeah, I could colonize Lathe with nice bases, so I'll show the major ones, but not all of them, because that would get boring. And here I'm filling up the crew, and we're about ready to launch. But please give me your comments on if you like the commentary or not, and do enjoy the rest of the video. There will be a shorter video coming out. I know I've said this before, but it is definitely factual. And any build challenges, like part limits too, those count as challenges. Like, you can only use X amount of parts, or it can only be X amount of weight. And yes, I have ignored the space planes for a reason, but we'll get to those. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video, and I will let you to be without my voice intervening upon your watching enjoyment. We have way too much fuel. I could have skipped that, I could have skipped this step. So now that we are basically going to be in orbit, sorry about that, I just decided that I would speed that up. So we will have about 1,000 meters to kick ourselves out of an Earth orbit. Wait a minute, I have an idea. So we are going to burn until we are, choice through the periods, come up above 70. Okay, so let's do this math. we gotta get to Minmus. We're at the inverse tilt that we want to be at, so that means we could do a correction here. But let's just see if we burn this way. That's a E1000. It's not the way I want to come in at it, so I want to try and be equatorial, but I can do all that stuff when I'm there. That'll cost 840 meters per second to fix. So we have $840 when we get that. So then from here, if we do a burn, that'll throw off our encounter. Let's just burn. Let's just keep. You know what? I don't want this debris flying in space. That's a moon encounter. That's not what we want. That's not the encounter we want. I'm kind of blind. Yeah. I will have to do a correction burn, so let's... Where do ours... Probably should have put some reaction wheels on this. Forgot I have those locks on now, the new ones, the everything but the maneuver nodes, target, and anti-target. I have 18 minutes to move this thing to where it should be before warping. close enough. Now if we switch ourselves to the retrograde, burn down so that way we no longer have an orbit, ditch our bottom stage. I know, I'm ditching fuel. But we have 2,500 meters per second of delta V. That should be more than enough. To make this thing orbit. That should be more than enough. Next is the moon. We're gonna colonize. We have to put a surface base on Minmus too. That'll be next. Or maybe that might be a secret surprise. Who knows? We'll see. I'll get all these clips edited up and I'll see what the total time is and if I think I can get away with making a surface base. Okay. So here it goes. Deorbit. It just has to come down enough. Yeah, okay. And then I have to pick it back up again. But it'll move a little bit faster now because we don't have as much weight on us. And that will go away. So this, we won't have debris in space. That's the goal. Keep the skies as clean as possible. I'll take that. And we have 2,400 meters per second of fuel. Or delta V. I will rename this when we so where is Minmus? 3 o'clock, it's a phase angle. Which, a phase angle, for those of you who don't know, is the angle in which you can get a perfect encounter. Or in which encounters are easier to get. I know how to get an encounter with the moon with ease, so let's see where. Well, that's all we want is an encounter, right? Oh, that's why. It's still trying to correct us, even though we are trying to correct it. I'm gonna try to warp about 2 minutes before we get there, or a couple minutes before we get there. 14 minutes. No. warp here. That'll be a couple of minutes before we get there. Suppose we should put it on prograde because that's what we're gonna have to burn. That's 50 seconds, so we'll burn at 25. Sounds about right. So I may skip through the burns to capture, and when we capture is when I'll show. And we missed it. Okay, we'll burn after. We'll be fine. Our encounter won't be as nice, but we'll be fine. Yeah, testing things. It's a moon encounter. We don't want that. Is it radial out? No. It is radial out. Radial out and radial in. So what radial out and in does, I never got to explain these things. Okay. So wherever it is, it pivots it. So it would turn our orbit from this, and it'll pivot it sideways around that. Like you put a pin there, like it's a piece of paper. You put a pin there, and it pivots around that. All right. So now that we are back on our way, and we have our encounters, and I have some things set up to circularize this. So now that we are on our way to Minmus, you can see that I have set some things up, and I have a clutter of things flying that I'm going to have to fix. Some of these, actually, I think one of them is already a station. Nope, there's R1, 0, and then an untitled spacecraft there. Alright, so go to the next maneuver. Three minutes. Let's go till about there's a minute left. Whoops. That kicked things out of place. Shoot. Please don't mess this up. Alright, we got this. Retrograde. Burn. Go. Is it anti-normal? How much delta V? We have 400 meters. It'll only take 15 meters per second of a delta V. We're anti-normal. And then we'll kick ourselves down into a lower orbit. There we go. Retrograde, because we want to bring this down. I want to be lower. I want to be in here. And then we got to fix this clutter. So I want to be around here. Who knows how much delta V this will take, but it shouldn't take much. We still have plenty of delta V to play with. And we can afford to make mistakes like that. That's what I like about making over-engineering rockets. You have room to make mistakes. I even ditched some extra stuff, like extra fuel, so. I'll take it. There we go, we have our station. And this has a probe core on it, right? Yeah. So if we extend these, well, just one. Watch what happens if we and there we go. Switch to this point. Well, there went that. Collided into the fuel tank. What was destroyed? Well. Well, that does that. Everything here is okay. All right. they will start their research. And then we will pull one of these down to help it. But y'all don't need to see this. Y'all don't need to see this, so. Alright, so guys. So this is what we have sent up here. A nice space station orbiting the planet. So after all of those fails, we indeed have something for my struggle, something to have joy over. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please, please, please give feedback on whether you want longer or shorter videos, whether you want, I don't know, whether you want longer, shorter videos, anything that you would change. Challenges for me too, because once I succeed at things, like once I actually finish, then I'll have to have some things to do to keep the series going, just a tad bit longer, not too long, but I'll do challenges for you guys, or that you guys come up with as well. So please give feedback on longer, shorter videos, anything that I can do to make it more interesting. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Peace out.
Redemption.